felt like here is so much everything, like it's like a space full of shapes and things and feelings that I felt much more like, oh, I can just like concentrate how I feel, and like I felt also I didn't have the need to like be too much like, oh, I throw this wild thing now, because I felt like, oh, it's just all the elements already, so I can just be there like floating around in them, and there's no need to be so like. But then I also thought that I just wanted to float around in the wind, and I really like the wind, and I love how the clothes were just hanging in the wind, like woo, and I felt like the sail in the sailboats, the white thing, the woo, and I want to float around, and then I felt like, then I thought like, oh, maybe I should also explore more about the stones and the shapes, and then I don't want to, I just want to feel the wind, I want to feel the wind, and I felt like the sea also made me very like dreamy, and I was just like, I was like meditating. Like I didn't want to think, or I didn't want to be like, is this interesting? What is me? It was like very much something for me. I felt like that it was like meditating.
I felt like kind of the same. Like I closed my eyes for some of it as well, and a lot of it was the wind as well, just being like, ooh, how it felt. Then I found a puddle on one of the rocks, and I was playing with the puddle a bit. But I really liked it because I felt like there was no judgment of anything around, because there's so much space. I think a lot of the time I wanted to be still and just be like, oh, this is nice. But I really enjoyed it.
I came here with like a very stressed feeling, but after doing this I feel so calm, like unusually very, very calm. And just like by putting out an arm or anything, you could just like feel the pressure of the wind. And I thought this was a very cool experience, because I know like in class we work with a lot of like press the air around you or between you to like explore the movements, but now it felt more real, like I could really press the wind. So that was really nice. And also like see how the rocks kind of like did fit my body and didn't fit my body. Like some rocks were like I could like lay down on and they kind of like fitted me, and some were very hard and I couldn't really, it was nice to kind of like see. I was kind of like trying to find a way by moving between the rocks and see like where my body fitted.
first I got very excited. I wanted to jump around, I get really wild, but then because of my leg injury I couldn't jump too much, but I wanted. And I don't know, like I'm not sure why, but I felt like after the sea this was much more like a not so calm place. It was more energetic, like there was people going around and like but still like nature things. You can hear the birds and the trees, and it was just felt like so many things here, like a little things, the chairs and everything. And it was like, wee, all these things, like, and I wanted to like play games, like, and it reminded me like when you were a kid and you were like in this kind of a place and you played like games in these tulps and I mean those poles and things, and it was like, ooh, like all the games and the imagination. But then at some point I also got very distracted, I think, by all the sounds and all the so much around. Then I got also like very like like not so concentrated.
Thank you. Yes, the first thing that was like in my mind was that it's kind of like this round circle. So I don't know, I started thinking about like I just wanted to explore the circle that I was in, and I didn't really see so much outside of it. But then I saw Aino going out like to the trees and stuff, and then it made my perspective wider. But I totally agree that this felt more like a playful place, and I think it's like the picture with this. The playground, and also like you hear the cars and people, and yes, and also like it's a bigger area, so it was more like bigger movements happening.
Yeah, it was definitely less like by the sea was much more sort of like meditation kind of style of being, and then here like I straight away just thought I was a child and I wanted to be on my hands because, you know, when you're a kid you do handstands and you do cartwheels, and I just wanted to play, and it was, yeah, I think just because parks resemble that for me being a child. And then the kind of more we got into it, I think I was kind of maturing a bit, like in the sense of like I wasn't really a child anymore. I was just sort of like playing with my surroundings. Like on the bench I was just like seeing where I could move on it rather than, you know, how it made me feel. Yeah, but I really enjoyed it here because I love kind of being a child. first I didn't like it at all because I feel like we're always in the studio, and so I was really uninspired, especially after being outside. So instead of doing my own stuff, I just started copying Ellen and Dino, and then after a while I started using props and giving them sort of a scenario because I didn't know what to do with them. And I think it worked out really nicely because it brought out a creative kind of energy without me having to be creative in the moment, you know.
First thing when we came here, the first thing that I realized was that it's so silent here. No wind, no birds, no cars. So I was like, oh, I can hear everything I do, and I was like, And then, but then it was also nice because I was like very calm then about the silence, like, oh, it's very calm. And I was like, now I felt like I can use the floor, so I want to be on the floor because in the outside it was more like always not so flat or like floor like. But then I also felt like I didn't like the mirror at all. Like I was like, I don't want to see the mirror. It really annoyed me that it was there, and I didn't want to see it. And then also, like I felt also like that now I also felt much more like that first I was like, what I can do now in the studio, like it was not so inspiring at all, like you said. But then it felt also like, now I felt more like it came more moments to also be with other people and like have more contact because there was not so many outside things coming, and I had to much more like create the moments to get inspired about something. They didn't like come to you from the wind and the bird. It was just, also it was very internal in that way. It had to come like from me all the time. And then I was very happy that you were bringing the props. Then it was again like somebody's like creating it, and was something to react more to. And and I was also like, first I was just thinking like, oh, it's a studio, it's like any class, we can't touch anything else. I was like, oh, I have to be here in the floor in the middle. And then I realized later like, here's chairs, I could do whatever in the chair, like no one has told me not to. But right away when you step in a studio, I come to mindset like, now we are in a class, we have to behave like this. But I was happy, cool then to break out of it. Then
That's why I got the props as well, because I was like, I'm gonna make it not a studio.
Yeah.
It was very clear when that moment did break, and it was so nice to break it, because my body felt just so heavy. I don't know why, but it felt really heavy, and I think that was also I couldn't really get up from the floor because I don't know, maybe it was that Aino said that you had so many, like you had the wind and the air that gave you movements, but now it took so much energy to like it needed to come from me. But this totally broke when Faye started to use the props. It became a whole different thing, and it's so fun to let movement happen instead of like create them. They just happen.
So nice. It was really nice watching you guys use the stuff I brought over.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know if you would or not.